Now serving your entree of sports and entertainment, the triple shot of Marcus returns. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Fish and Grits for the culture. May 17th, 2018. How's it going for you, players?
Hot. Dog, I almost suffocated myself when going to my car today. Like,
Bro,
I got that black leather, so it just soaks
like this
all that oxygen out.
this was the perfect week for the Phoenix Suns to win the draft lottery because it's like the Suns is celebrating. They are out. The sun is out.
Yeah,
And they
he's celebrating with it. They cousin, they distant cousins that's been tripping,
wild.
burning us up.
The boys celebrating. How's it going for you, Will?
I can't complain, man. Another day in paradise, living the dream. You know how I go.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Par-
sir.
Paradise, where you at, Will?
I'm, I mean, it could be worse.
Oh man, I feel like I'm in hell. I said, Lord. I woke up. I said, Lord, what happened? I was woke up. Mama wasn't here. Daddy wasn't here. I was looking outside. I said, Lord, it's hot. I said, did Lord transfer me to hell? I know I said my prayers last night.
What happened that quick?
Oh man.
But man,
Okay.
Wouldn't that suck? Wouldn't that suck?
that would suck, bro.
Look, people, bro, the people on the Avengers, like the little characters that's off screen are gonna be thinking to themselves, was my friends caught up in the rapture? What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. What's going on? Why everybody gone right now? Like somebody explain that to you, boy.
I done texted Sam Wilson like 8 times. This motherfucker ain't hit me back
At
yet.
all. I told this man, dog, I needed him. If he can work on them wings, he can come work on my engine.
Man.
God,
Please.
damn, disrespectful, damn.
You know, we've been off the movie scenes for a little minute, but hey, we got a couple trailers coming up. Hey, that Predator that you put me on was fire. I got to start. I just watched that one probably about 10 minutes ago. But
It looks
joint was
interesting.
fire. It looks interesting, man. I like the storyline that they're giving us. I'm feeling that a little bit.
I wondered on that Predator trailer because if you look at it, I don't know if is it a sequel to any of the other Predators? I don't know. Does it stand on its own or because they made the Predators movies? I want to say about what is it like six? Wilson, you remember like 6 years ago they made a Predators movie with Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody.
Yeah,
That
was a good movie. I'm cool.
I thought that movie was good as hell.
I thought it was way better than any of the Predators. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know if they rebooting or it's like a sequel.
Fresh take on the content, true to the original premise of the movie and stuff like that. But like it was just an eye opener that somebody went and took that next step and was like, you know what, we ain't gonna have them come down here and hunt y'all. We're gonna have them outsource and pick y'all up and drop y'all off on one of their hunting worlds and see how you do.
Hey, that's live. It's gonna be interesting to see. And then Shane Black, he makes some pretty good movies, so it's gonna be interesting to see what his take is. Also our boy, what's his name? From what does he play on? Suicide Squad. Didn't he play like the Colonel or something like that? That's playing the main dude on this show.
Yeah.
He played the villain on X-Men, so it's gonna
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very interesting to see what he do. He's been on a roll. That's been on a roll. I can't wait to see what he's gonna do with that role.
That's what's up. And then what else we got? We got Bohemian Rhapsody. That was pretty. The story of Queen, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know
guys
nothing
have
about.
No idea. I'll excuse you all for a minute. For people that don't know, because this is a podcast is about the culture. One thing that most of my folks that are below my age bracket don't understand: Freddie Mercury and Queen are arguably one of the top 3 pop culture groups of all time in any genre of music. You hear them all the time, and you never know that you're hearing them. They're that ingrained into the DNA because there's people far and wide that have gone to sporting events and have heard "We Are the Champions" or "We Will Rock You" or "Another One Bites the Dust." Those are all Queen and Freddie Mercury, as well as Bohemian Rhapsody that people that are fans of Wayne's World got acquainted with their now infamous lip sync in the Pacer, driving down the street to that song. But they are one of the best rock groups of all time. Freddie Mercury is one of the greatest rock personalities of all time. He's up there with the Elton Johns and Mick Jaggers. Queen was a very, very big deal in their day. Like they were a super huge deal in their day. And Freddie Mercury was arguably the most polarizing guy in music for about a 10-year stretch, whether it was his flamboyance, his open sexuality, the fact that the man had a magical musical mind and voice to go with it. His voice is timeless. You know what a Queen song sounds like off that voice alone because nobody sounds like it. I am a huge fan of theirs. I am a huge fan of seeing what this movie is all about. I think that they can make this really, really good.
Yeah, personally, I don't know nothing about Queen. Well, I know Queen. I know of Queen. I've heard their music or whatnot, but I don't know the backstory. I don't know what's going to be going on. But I happened to click on the trailer. I think someone posted on Facebook, and I was like, "Oh, that's an interesting looking trailer. Let me go look at the full trailer." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I think it's the style of how the trailer was cut and how it kind of took me into like the 60s. I mean, not the 60s, the 70s and 80s or whatnot. And I also like it that dude from Mr. Robot is playing Freddie Mercury that he replaced. I think it was Sacha Baron Cohen, or he played somebody. So he looks awesome in the role. So I can't wait to see that.
Yes.
And then Littlefinger's my boy that played Littlefinger on Game of Thrones is on there. So it's always good to see him on there.
Yeah, 100%.
I think it's gonna be really good. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah.
You're not interested in Broden?
Yeah. I'm interested for it. Yeah, I like the trailer. Like I said, I like the trailer. I don't really know too much about Queen, but the movie looked interesting. I feel like I'm gonna know about the backstory, just like you said.
I was about to say if they do it right and do justice to it, you'll learn a lot about. I'm so excited.
I feel like if you're a fan of like Five Heartbeats, NWA, all those type of storylines, this is one of those movies that you should check out. That's just how I feel about it. If you like the background story of any artist, which I'm a fan of, like when VH1 do they random hour shows, like I pay attention to it. I want to know their backstory. So I'm sold on it. I'm cool. Then listening to Wilson, it's like, damn, I need to get up on him. I need to know about Queen. I've heard all those songs, like you said.
Yeah, the other part about it too is that a lot of us we get caught up in being in our own particular genres. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but you got folks it's just hip hop, or folks it's just R&B, or folks it's just alternative and stuff like that. But the thing that makes it so cool when you learn about these older groups and stuff like that is that you'd be surprised where a lot of maybe some of your favorite artists get inspiration from. Queen has influenced a lot of people outside of the rock and roll genre.
Yeah, they influenced my boy Al. Oh, keep going.
Oh, no, you good. I mean, you can go double back and look. Queen has been sampled early and often in hip hop on numerous rap songs, beats, choruses, vocals, stuff like that. I mean, it's one of those things that if you like music, if you just want to learn a little bit something more about pop culture and about pop culture history, I think that you'll enjoy it because they were very influential. Very unique personality, to say the least. I don't want to try to give away for the movie for people that don't know about it, but please believe, man, like they were the epitome of sex, drugs, and rock and roll for their time.
Should be interesting.
And what about the Mission Impossible trailer for you?
Oh shit, that's the one I've been ready to talk about. God damn it. These films have been on point. I don't care what nobody. He
jumped on this shit, bro, like MC Lights. Hot damn,
because if we think
about,
that
bitch is lit. Man, I'm not gonna lie, that motherfucker is lit.
If we think about this, man, you got James Bond, you got the Bourne, you got the John Wicks, you got everything going on with the Fast and Furious. You got all these little serial movies coming out, and no one really talks enough about Mission Impossible. But damn, if you go from what's the first movie till now, these films have improved every film. Every film you can see the acting gets better, the action gets better, the story gets better, the plot gets better, the scenery gets better, the Tom Cruise looks younger, and I'm just like, damn, this film looks awesome. Like I was so hyped.
Witchcraft. That's all that is.
Oh, that is that science witchcraft. I wouldn't be. That's probably named Tom Cruise. That's probably Tom Cruise clone.
They're gonna shut us down. They're gonna shut us down. Don't talk.
They're gonna shut us down.
They're gonna shut us down.
Hey, let's not talk about them. They might shut this podcast down. I don't need them problems. I'm trying to hype them up.
Man. Mission Impossible, like as a storyline and stuff like that, like people may not want to admit it or may not pay attention to it, but for me, I've always been an action movie guy. Like Tom Cruise is in a flat out sprint, like he always does in a Mission Impossible movie.
Always.
chasing down that Harrison Ford title as best action movie man of all time, and he is padding the hell out his resume with these Mission Impossible movies. He's padding the hell out his resume with these Mission Impossible movies.
So it's incredible that I want to say, what is that? 6-7 years ago, they were talking about maybe this is the end of Tom Cruise. You know, he had to go on off with Katie, whatever her name is, whatever her name is, Holmes, you know, Katie Holmes. They had that falling out, and then on top of that, him with the Scientology, he had a few movies that weren't the greatest. You know, he had that one with I want to say, what's her name, Cameron Diaz. And it seemed like ever since he came out in that Tropic Thunder movie, and he kind of resonated with fans, and then Mission Impossible started kicking off again with Ghost Protocol, and then he had that what's that movie, Live, Die, Repeat, or whatever it's called. And it's just amazing how, if you look back at his movies, Tom Cruise has been killing it for years. I mean, we've talked about Will Smith and all that.
He started after the Katie Holmes stuff and things like that, but like when he dropped out gems, like nobody knew that we were gonna get the performance that we got for him on Collateral. I love it. Like he busted out and he busted it out on Jack Reacher, which nobody was giving any, you know, attention to, and all of a sudden it was like, oh shit, have y'all seen Jack Reacher? Man, that shit lit. Like he's just like so surprising in the fact that if you would have told me 15 years ago that I would be like seriously willing to debate somebody as Tom Cruise being one of the top 5 action film stars of all time, I would have probably laughed at you. But now
he's up there.
Yeah, I got time. Oh, he's top 5 for me, easy. He's top 5 for me, easy.
He's in my top 3 because I was before we got on the podcast, I was thinking about some of the movies that he just came out of recently, and I just wanted to think to myself where it was overhyping it. He was the best thing about that crappy Mummy movie last year. Edge of Tomorrow, he was good. American Made, he was good. Oblivion wasn't the greatest. I mean, that was a good movie. Tropic Thunder, like you said, Jack Reacher, War of the Worlds. Go back and watch that movie. Really, that movie is not the greatest plot, but Tom Cruise sold you on that movie. I'm talking about Last Samurai. He has a lot of, Tom Cruise is up there.
Oh, Tom Cruise's resume is impressive. Yeah. To say the least, it's impressive.
Mm-hmm. But back to the Mission Impossible, it's good to see Henry Cavill. I mean, he's looking like looking good with the mustache. I'm kind of mad that they still had to CGI it off in Justice League, but it is what it is. He looks like he's impressive. He goes rogue. I'm kind of mad that they revealed that on the trailer because I was kind of just wondering what his character was on the first trailer. But in this trailer, you know what they do? They like to spoil things. So it looks like he goes rogue. So it's going to be interesting to see.
And then we also had the Black Klansman. Black Klansman?
A Spike Lee joint.
Mm-hmm. That is going to be very interesting because as soon as I watched that trailer, all I can think about is when Dave Chappelle was the KKK leader.
And that's why I will wait until Monday after it premieres to go see it.
You see our boy from The Rock Show. God damn it. Marcus, the show we watch.
Yeah, Washington.
Denzel Washington's son is on. I was like, impressive. It's good to see him out there.
Got Jordan Peele behind it. I mean, it's solid from what I've seen of the cast and crew. It's just that it's something about the concept of it that just doesn't sell me yet. Hopefully, I'll get another trailer to get sold on it, but going off of this first trailer, it has me like interested, but I'm not like, yeah, I can't wait. Let me pre-order these tickets. Interested.
Oh yeah, I can understand. Oh yeah, it got my eye peeking.
I'm interested to see what else comes out. Yeah, I hope they drop another trailer between now and the time that they actually release the film.
It's like I see you. You know, I'm peeking at you. Let's see what you're gonna do on the next trailer.
Yeah, because like the thing that immediately got me was the same thing that got you. I was like, okay, is this just like an extended Chappelle skit? Because if so, I'm not here for that.
Seen it already.
Yeah, that's my only reservation. No disrespect to any of the cast, crew, or anything like that. I mean, the concept in and of itself is very intriguing. There's a lot that you can do with it. I like the fact that Spike Lee and Jordan Peele are collaborating on this, which means there's two great minds that can give you a lot of possibilities with it. I'm just not sold on it as of the first trailer.
Yeah, Spike Lee might need that. I think Jordan Peele can give him that focus that Spike Lee needs to do. Because, you know, Spike Lee kind of, when he comes out with a movie, sometimes it's all over the place. I'm not going to lie. The Spike Lee film that he did was that Old Boy with our boy that played Thanos, Josh Brolin. Yeah, I really enjoyed that movie, even though it was like
most people didn't know it was a Spike Lee movie.
It was really damn good. Really, it was pretty damn good. It's not better than the original.
It was really good. It was a good take on it.
So I think Spike Lee gets a bad rep, but I think he can put out some good work. So we're going to be interested to see what he does with this film. Hey, what a time for some good movies to come out. You know, TV out here killing it.
For Spike, I think his biggest problem, and I'll let this one go. The only problem that I have with Spike is I think that in a way, I think that audiences feel that Spike and the way that he does his work to a certain extent is dated.
True.
He hasn't really kind of evolved with the times. And I agree with that, but I disagree with that because, okay, if he decided to switch up and change, then he's no longer doing Spike Lee joints. That's part of what makes a Spike Lee joint a Spike Lee joint. You know what I'm saying? So it's that thin line that you walk. But I think that having Jordan Peele on the project to kind of give you a little bit of that outside of the box flavor to go with what you normally would expect with a Spike Lee joint, I think it'll work out good for him.
Didn't Spike Lee do that She's Gotta Have It TV show on Netflix?
Yeah, he's the one that did the movie. That was his
I know he
did
the movie. I know he did the movie. I didn't know if somebody took it and kind of spent it and make it into his own show, or did he produce that and direct it?
You had other people that directed episodes and stuff like that. But yeah, he was executive producer on that. That was his baby.
Oh, I enjoyed that. I can't wait to see Mr. Nola Darling come back.
And it's funny because I've gotten reviews that have gone the complete spectrum. I've had people that have loved it. I've had people that have been kind of meh with it. I've had people that absolutely hated it. And I was like, I can kind of understand where all views come from. But unfortunately, for most folks, if you didn't see the original movie, I really can't get into you like loving it or hating it because you don't really know where the concept comes from.
Exactly. And you got a spot on right there. And I think that's what I did. I think at first I didn't like it, and I think I went back and I looked at the original film, and I just saw how they took the concepts of the original film and modernized it and updated for today's time. And then I looked back and I was like, you know what? This is actually a pretty decent TV series. I wouldn't mind to see some of this get fleshed out some more for another season.
And Spike been watching those terrible Knicks for about 2 decades. Y'all gotta give him a break. He trying to.
Oh yeah, he heard. He trying, dog. He trying. He been suffering for years.
That one time, he had to take the glasses off and wipe them. Like, I can't believe.
Yeah, Spike ain't had nothing winning in his life like forever right now in just about anything. I mean, I'll give him a pass.
It's all right.
When you're living in the lottery, I give you a pass. Man. It's all good.
Man. Well, what about the J. Cole interview? Both of y'all caught it? What y'all think of it?
I caught it.
Did you? Okay. And, it's always a treat when Cole comes out of his little cocoon.
People,
Exactly. I thought it was really interesting. Sometimes when I listen to J. Cole, I think that what he talks about kind of goes over a lot of people's heads because I don't know if it's just the J. Cole fans annoy people or people just like to troll, quote unquote. But it's like when he talks about some stuff, he kind of, it's amazing that he had an hour and 30-minute interview and they really barely talked about the album, honestly. And that's something refreshing nowadays because it's like everybody has an alternative motive when they come and do an interview. What you trying to sell, what are you trying to bring some type of attention to instead of just having a casual conversation. So it was good to just hear J. Cole thoughts on certain stuff where he wasn't trying to step on too many people's toes, but just good to see where his mindset is, where he's, been at mentally. I know we read that one article that he had released, but it's good to hear his voice and see what state of mind J. Cole in. And then it's also interesting to see that Kanye, that he didn't, it's like he said that he's not subliminally, he wasn't trying to take shots at Kanye West, but he said that it's like what people took that thing and ran with it with the false prophets or whatnot. And it's amazing to hear that he was talking about like it was intended for more people than just Kanye, but it's amazing how people
and himself too.
Yeah, and it's crazy how people just took it and flipped it. I was like, dang, man, J. Cole, dude, that dude right there. When it's all said and done, that dude's gonna be. He's gonna be the top 5 in a lot of people's list, or should be.
Easy. Come on now. I think he low key gave us his top 5 on the interview. If you caught it.
The thing about J. Cole that resonates for me as an old school hip hop fan is this. I'm fully convinced that the modern day rap fan is never gonna like J. Cole. Hip hop fans will always love J. Cole. Why? Because J. Cole does not live behind the identity of being a rap star. J. Cole knows that he's more identifiable and he has a bigger platform because he is a rap star, but he doesn't use it in the same manner to accomplish things that other rap stars do because he's a vehicle of hip hop. He stands for more than just rap music. He stands for more than just lyrics. He actually has his own mind, his own conscience, his own moral compass, and that rubs people the wrong way that are addicted to the cookie cutter format of what is known as rap and hip hop nowadays. I commend him for that because to be that young and be willing to go out there is a testament to what hip hop is about at its core anyway. He's going to resonate with people the same way Tribe Called Quest did, the same way an Outkast did, the same way you get those folks that speak above and beyond, kind of outside of that fourth wall, so to speak, if we think about it from acting terms, breaking that fourth wall when it comes to the hip hop genre or music genre in general. When I laugh because nowadays when somebody talks to me about rap or about music and stuff like that and they bring up J. Cole, I have to remind myself that J. Cole is a musician because I don't think about him as a musician anymore. I think about him as an instrument of change. I think about him as a social voice more than I think about him as an actual musician because of the fact that he puts so much passion and so much depth into what he says, not only on a track, but in interviews like this. He's rare in that lane right now for modern day young artists, and I hope people take the time to appreciate and pay attention to him because yes, when it's all said and done, he's going to be one of the all-time greats. People will be arguing him just like Andre and Rakim and KRS-One and Ice Cube, and he will be up there right along with all the rest of those folks when it's all said and done.
It's like a mystery with J. Cole because he's like like you said, your typical artist. Where a lot of the artists nowadays are more available, whether it's IG video live or Periscope or on Snapchat, on Facebook or whatnot, or Twitter, and it's just interesting. Or it adds that lure to those artists that we kind of look up to, or we kind of. J. Cole was talking about he doesn't want to be idolized because he's like, why are y'all looking at what I'm saying and glorifying it as much? But he kind of owns that role that, this is something I have to do, so I have to watch myself. But it's great to see that there's still those artists out there that there's a mystery about that you don't see enough of. So when he does pop on the scene, does an interview, or he pops up and does an album, you kind of treasure it more and it kind of sits with you more because you don't get it as often, where a lot of these people kind of push a single, so they're kind of out more than the open and you can always see them and you can kind of get annoyed at those people. But it's good to see you still have those celebrities that still push the tempo of keeping that mystery about them. And I like that about J. Cole. And I think that's it doesn't get enough attention, and his stories. That dude's he's a poet. He's a real life poet. The dude makes good poetry.
He's a throwback. He's very much a throwback. He reminds you of times in hip hop gone by when artists weren't worried about what single was dropping, or even if they were on the radio, where the only thing that mattered was having that voice, putting that voice out there, moving the crowd, you know what I'm saying? Having people listen and feeling your vibe. That's why you get a lot of folks that, are probably in an older demographic that probably cut for J. Cole a little bit more than folks that are younger, because he reminds us of the way that we grew up with hip hop music. We didn't get a chance to listen to it on the radio all the time. We had to hunt down mixtapes and, go to shows and see these folks to hear them, because radio wasn't fucking with them like that until they found out that they could, use them and bastardize them and exploit them for the money issue. They wasn't trying to hear nothing that we had to say. They wasn't trying to hear none of the struggles that we was going through until they found out they could make $1 off of it. Then the industry changed. You know what I'm saying? J. Cole reminds us of the fact that, the basic premise of just being dope and having dope shit to say still works in hip hop.
Yeah, he's a humble superstar of hip hop. He understands his role.
He's the Tim Duncan of hip hop.
That's true.
Put the 2-1 on him.
Consistency.
Superstar of hip hop. He embodies everything that hip hop should be, and sadly, it isn't in today's generation.
Yeah. Well, for some, it's everything that they want it to be right now. There's some folks that's in love with ringtone music,
and I'm not mad at them.
I'm not mad at them. Everything has its place. Everything has its market. You know what I'm saying?
And I am salty that we ain't getting that Cole and Kendrick album. I did kind of tear up a little bit. I've been
not yet.
Like 2 years.
Not
Bro,
yet.
I've been waiting on this since what 2010 when they were teasing this.
Man, us old heads have been waiting for the Chronic 2 for even longer, so you'll be all right.
But it's the Chronic 2. We know Dre ain't writing them verses out there.
Chill.
We know Dre ain't writing them verses.
Dre like
you know Dre ain't writing them verses.
Dre about to send us that mixtape called Sticks and Seeds. Just I thought she was giving us the comic.
Sticks and Seeds.
Reggie, what is this?
What's this called, Reggie?
What is this Sticks and Seeds EP that y'all got going on?
Man.
Dre, acapella, it ain't even no beats on this shit.
Dre, you been in the gym too long, dog. You got to get back on here, son.
How you gonna do me?
Oh, that's funny.
I heard Dre coming out with just the iTunes download called Skunk. What?
Gargut. Gargut.
What?
2 tracks.
Leftovers and Roaches. What? What?
Hey, then the Avengers, they didn't put a Billy on the board officially. Doing their thing.
Oh, man.
As expected. Shit.
Oh, yeah.
It's
they gonna crush it. They gonna keep crushing it.
It's incredible. I think it's incredible that no one's talking about the fact that Black Panther is like $3 million or like $2 million away from making $700 million in the US. That's incredible. That's more incredible to me.
Well, they're already getting their residuals from me because I already got 2 copies of the Blu-ray.
Oh, the Blu-ray did come out.
Yeah, I got mine today. My sister got hers for her birthday, early birthday present in the mail today. Yes, Wakanda love is still spreading.
You know what? I was watching Black Panther, and then I think it messed up or something. And me and my mom switched a movie, and we went to watch Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, I think we talked about this before. That's probably the most underrated Marvel film. That and Ant-Man.
Phenomenal.
God damn, those movies are awesome.
Ant-Man is a slight edge. Ant-Man, I give the slight edge on underratedness to Doctor Strange.
Man, you think so? Because I think it didn't make as much as Doctor Strange. So I guess I get what you're saying. But it's entertainment.
It's a lot of people to this day that still haven't seen Ant-Man, and that amazes me.
That's tragic. If you haven't seen neither one of those movies,
funniest and best movies, like those are 2 of the funniest and best Marvel comic book movies that I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I told my mama that Doctor Strange is the greatest ripoff of the biblical stories I've ever seen in my life. It's like literally, it's like I was literally watching a movie, breaking it down. I said, "Mama, look, it's like they're fighting for Christ."
You better stop it.
Griff.
It's magic.
It's magic. It's magic. But yeah, man, that movie's awesome, dog. I both of those movies are awesome. I can't wait for Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh, no doubt, man, no doubt. And then Deadpool already out. You can go catch that soon.
Man,
like I said, we'll catch it eventually.
Can we keep it real?
I might catch it tomorrow.
Can we keep it real, man? I'm just not really hyped for Deadpool, and I heard it was actually a decent movie, but it's just there's no anticipation.
Yeah, I've heard that it's actually pretty doggone good.
There's no anticipation because I think I'm kind of spoiled to the fact that I think Marvel kind of spoils me because it's like, what is Deadpool? It's like, I'll go watch this movie. Yeah, it may be entertaining, but Fox is about to go bye-bye, so it don't really matter.
It's a standalone movie with no end game. Unless they create some in this movie, it's a standalone movie with no end game.
Oh, you have a point, and that is spot on.
We don't care about this movie.
I think we should just go ahead. I think they should.
There's a dedicated, hardcore group of fans, like my oldest goddaughter, who is Deadpool crazy, and I know for a fact, as we're recording, that they're probably on their way to go see it right now. I mean, it has its place. Don't get me wrong.
You say your goddaughter?
Yeah, my oldest goddaughter is a sophomore in college. She's of age.
Okay. Ooh.
Trust me, I don't play that.
I thought she was like 8-year-old. Go see Deadpool.
About to go live, huh?
No, sir.
I said, damn, that's too live.
Late night show.
I don't do that. We keep it age appropriate.
I said that kind of remind me when that's kind of remind me when I made it into the Blade film. I was like, ain't no way I should be in this film.
But I like it.
But I love it. I love it.
I'm here. I'm here for it.
Excellent.
You know what? I may do that with my son when he gets older. It come out with go to the R-rated films and say, "Don't tell your mama."
I mean, depending on what it is, there's a lot of things that people don't understand, and a lot of it has to do with like the rating system. Like, for instance, a lot of people don't know the fact that if you go through and you blaze up a cigarette in a movie now, it automatically gets an R rating.
Really?
There could be nothing else going on in there from violence, cussing. I'm dead serious. If
That's
you spark
crazy.
up a cigarette in a movie nowadays, they give you an R rating. That's why I say it depends on what kind of movie it is.
That
Now, if
was
it's too bloody, too gory, stuff like that, like I got a DVD and Blu-ray collection for when all my other godchildren and my children one day grow up and they want to get interested in this kind of thing and they want to see what these movies is all about and stuff like that. That's great. I can give it to them while they're age appropriate. But yeah, some things you can't expose them to. Like Deadpool is kids that I know have no business being in these movie theaters. Is gonna go like some things you gotta be a good parent and be like, you're not old enough to watch and experience all this.
That's why you got to sneak past them.
I would be low key nervous if a kid like under 13 went into Deadpool and like got all the jokes and understood everything that was going on.
That would be pretty impressive, dog. You got that?
Actually, I'd be a little nervous. I'd be like, you got that joke?
What you been watching?
What you know about that?
What you been watching?
What you laughing for?
That ain't funny.
Grab your popcorn. We leaving. Get out. Come on.
We gotta go. Did y'all finish watching Dear White People? I watched a couple episodes. I ain't finished.
I binged it when it first came out. Yeah.
And I did on that Saturday, and I think that it's got to be said. We are living in the renaissance of black entertainment. Jesus, that show is awesome. I'm talking about phenomenal. The issues that they talk about, and just, I think they explored each one of the characters a little bit deeper this season, and I think that's the thing I like the most about this show is they took what we thought we knew about these characters and went a little bit deeper, and it was really goddamn impressive. Just dealing with what's her name, Sam, and what she had to deal with, and I don't want to give away any spoilers if you haven't seen it, but what she has to deal with in this season, from the bashing online for her being black and white, and just for her dealing with family issues, and then her dealing with the situation with her from her boyfriend from last year, the white dude. I can't remember his name to save my life, but it's incredible. It's incredible just seeing what Reggie has to go through. I don't understand what the Dean's son was really going through. I think he's going through trying to.
Don't spoil it now. We can't.
I'm not trying to.
That's the thing that makes it awkward. That's the thing that makes this awkward is that it's hard to talk about it without spoiling it, because the one thing, and I'm going to let you keep going in just a second, but the one thing that I encourage for everybody, please, 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 do this in order. Watch the movie, watch season 1, then watch season 2. Because if not, your views on this show are going to be a lot different than ours are.
Can we do this? Throw up a spoiler. Okay, this is about to be a spoiler. Spoiler. All right, let's talk about this, Wilson. I thought it was wonderful to see old boy from Everybody Hates Chris and Tessa Thompson on there. I thought that was wonderful. I think that was just a great treat for the show, because I didn't expect them to be on the show. So people from their movie actually making it to the show and meeting their actual character is pretty impressive to me.
Yeah, I thought that was a good twist on it. You know what I'm saying? A good kind of, in the know tribute type thing. And I like the fact that this has actually gained enough traction from being what was originally thought of as a novelty movie to actually be in a dedicated series that they put 2 seasons behind. And it does explore a lot of uncomfortable issues and situations that go on with young black folks in the middle class to upper class college environment. It tackles a lot of uncomfortable issues that people may not really want to own up to or really acknowledge. I've gotten a lot of people that absolutely hate this series.
I don't know why. I can understand.
For a lot of them, they really can't properly identify, or they think that it's made too melodramatic, or they just don't want to acknowledge the fact that those kind of situations and those kinds of arguments actually exist. I mean, they tackle a lot of things. They embrace a lot of things on the complete sides of the spectrum, whether it be gender specific, sexuality specific, whether it be from those that don't have a dog in the fight politically or socially to those that are extremes, whether it's extreme left, extreme right. You got a little splash of the so-called woke to the hoteps to the down folks that just want to be down for the social media life. I mean, they tackle a whole lot of different.
It's a more mature, grownish.
Yeah, it tackles a lot of different areas that a lot of people are uncomfortable with acknowledging or actually taking the time to own up to. And I think that's part of the thing that bothers people. And then there's just some people that don't really get into it like that. I mean, I know a lot of people that don't like Blackish and Grownish, and I mean, to each their own, but you know,
super tough.
Other than the fact that you're just not interested in actually exploring those dynamics and acknowledging the world around you, I can't see how you don't like them.
Yeah, that's
but
super
again,
tough.
To each their own. Yeah.
That's tough, man, because if you don't like Blackish, you missing on a 4 arc episodes
Sweet
that are
Jesus.
on a whole nother level.
This has been the roughest 4 episodes. This has been the roughest 4 episodes of my life. Like I've literally had to like grab the Kleenex box for these last few episodes. I'm like, what is going on?
I felt like that was my uncle. I thought that was my uncle, my aunt going through. I said, this don't make no sense, y'all. We gotta talk this out.
Y'all supposed to love each other, man. What y'all doing? Just like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm locking y'all in this room. Ain't nobody coming out and telling everybody to love everybody.
No more episodes until y'all start working this stuff out. Because we need a season 5.
Right now. Hug each other. Kiss each other like you mean it.
It's tough, man. It's tough. It's tough. It's a really good show, man. Blackish is killing it.
No, for sure.
Tracy Ellis Ross and Anthony Anderson will be looking at us like, bruh, we just acting. You do real. Nah, fuck that. Y'all hug each other
fuck
right
y'all. Y'all love each other right now. I don't care if y'all both married to somebody else. Hug right now.
People, they not real. They not real. Don't hug each other right now.
They deserve an Emmy. Both of them deserve an Emmy going into next year. And if they don't, I'm a boycott a little bit. I'm gonna talk a little shit because they deserve it.
And again, kudos to Tracy Ellis Ross in particular because she directed a couple of those episodes.
Sure did.
Doing her thing, stacking up that legacy. I feel you, Tracy. Shoot.
Get that paper.
Y'all finish Atlanta or y'all in?
I got one more episode. I gotta see that last episode. But dog, does Paperboy ever record?
Bro,
does he ever do it?
He had one track for 2
one track. Dog, I ain't never seen somebody. I ain't never seen 1-2 being so successful over one track. I'd say, Jesus Christ, dog.
They have bounced back with the they did bounce back with the season. I must say, I was on.
It got better. It got better.
The first 4 episodes, I was getting mad.
I was too, because it started getting way better,
I guess it started to make sense for me. It started to make sense. I had to get the concept of everything.
I think the last episode I watched is when he was running through the fort, when he was about to get jacked for his chain. I think that's the last episode I saw. I think that's the last one I seen, and I got to catch up.
Okay. I think you got 2 more, man. I think got 2 more.
No. What's the one that came on after that? I think I seen the one that came on after that. What happened on that one?
The one that...
If you don't remember, it's all good. It ain't really that important.
Because it's 11. I thought it was 10.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't really need to go catch up. I probably am 2 episodes.
It's 11 episodes, so I think it's 2 more you need to catch. It's 2 more.
Yeah, man. Hey, man. Donald Glover killing it right now. Just got approved for what that Lando solo movie they coming out with, and you know he got that song "This Is America," whatever it's called. He on fire right now.
Yeah, he's doing stuff.
Hey, man.
Hot flavor right now.
Too bad that Deadpool cartoon got canceled. I would have watched that one.
Seen a little clip for that. Look fire.
Might have been a blessing in disguise.
Hey, who knows?
Yeah, that's true.
Man, are y'all excited?
Wait. Real quick TV things for my underground folks and stuff like that. For those of you that love to ride that DC train along with your boy, go on ahead and check out these new pictures of what is going to be season 3 of Young Justice, which is going to have that Batman and the Outsiders flair to it. You'll see members from the actual comic book series Batman and the Outsiders. Black Lightning is going to be involved in that bad boy. Nightwing, Katana, Geo-Force, Ambush Bug. There's a lot of other ones in there. You can check out the pictures of it online. Should be dope. It's been a long time coming because people have been starving to get another season of Young Justice after the 2nd season. And Batman Ninja, for anybody that's actually purchased it or seen it, I think that it's pretty good. I like the take. I like the twist on it. It's out on Blu-ray and DVD. Hit that up. And one of the best kept secrets that I've never talked about on this podcast until now, because I really didn't have time with all the other stuff that we usually watch to really get into it. But I said, you know what? I've been neglecting it. Let me go ahead and dive into it. Oh my goodness, Lucifer Morningstar is one of my favorite TV characters and one of my favorite shows on right now. Lucifer is one of the best shows that DC has out, and it's actually, for a lot of people that don't know, it's comic book related. That's arguably
you talking about the show on Fox?
Yeah,
you talking about the show on Fox?
He's actually like,
Oh, the one that just got canceled.
Really good. It's really
Didn't it just get canceled?
Take a chance. Mm-mm.
Yeah, it did. I thought it just got canceled.
I mean, if it did, they're gonna finish out this run with a bang. I've been enjoying it the entire time.
I gotta watch it, man. Yeah, it got canceled. I heard a reported that. I've been saying I was gonna watch that show.
It's on the concept of Lucifer and heaven and hell and God and angels and all points in between. It's really good. It's really good. If you get a chance, you can binge it, Showbox it, Hulu it, whatever you like. But it's really, really good.
Oh, since well, if this is the early version of what to watch, I'm gonna tell everybody out there to watch a show that I know most of y'all probably forgot was back on, and that's Westworld. Westworld is fucking killing it, and it's only been 4 episodes, and I am blown away. I am blown away at how amazing Westworld.
That was off the chain.
I talked to this one dude at the I want to say Sam's the other day, and we bumped into each other. I'm sorry to be so long. I know I wanted to be done by 8 something, but I bumped into this dude. He stood up there and said, I don't know how we started talking about Westworld. He said that he didn't know it was on, and I told him it's only 4 episodes in, and it's better than the first season combined in just 4 episodes. Keep it at that, and that's all I got to say. Westworld, the own show I'll be endorsing right now.
That's all you got on the tube.
that and Into the Badlands. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, like what Marcus said, catch up on those shows. But on my end, it's Blackish. Those 2 show and stars. Keep it honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's the usual suspects for us. That's why I don't keep talking about them. I mean, Empire, Star, Blackish, Grownish. I mean, the usual suspects for us. I just threw that Lucifer out there because I just literally saw the series and was impressed by it because I had never gotten a chance to see it. And then the Young Justice thing, because they're coming out with this season 3, I've been waiting on them to put out another season of Young Justice
forever. Mm-hmm. So, yep, entertainment. That's all it is.
Man, for sure. Catch all that good shit right there. Man, I gotta get back on my TV shit. I ain't had time, but
it's all good, dog. We
exist in the real world. It happens, brother.
I feel you. But
I'm about to say, I got time.
I am a fan of the dark arts. And I wanted to know how you fellas feel
Malfoy.
The path to legalize sports gambling that is upon us. I can't wait for it. That's just me personally. I feel like I'm gonna have some type of app on my phone that's gonna be having me placing bets all day. So I can't wait for that. I don't know how I'm gonna do it with this Texas phone, but I'm gonna find a way to get
they're gonna find you, son.
Well, the thing that's gonna be awkward about it is that everything is gonna be so region specific and stuff like that because they're leaving it up to that Pandora's box of letting it be state by state legislation. So you'll have some states you can go into and you can do everything from prop bets to the normal, and then you'll have some states that won't let you bet on anything except the straight up stuff. And then the other unfortunate part about it and stuff like that, it's virtually a guarantee that whatever state you live in, you will not be able to bet on the teams that play in those states.
That's trash. It's just like the weed legalization. How you gonna smoke weed in Cali and all these other places and then be like, get to Texas and be like, nah, can't do it. I'm like, come on, dog.
As long as I can safely get me a weekly parlay in, I'm fine. That's all I need. I don't need.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it makes it interesting because of the fact that you can outsource it a little bit easier. Yeah. But I mean, you've technically still been able to gamble all this time. I mean, it's just that you got to go through Vegas. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Now you can go through right down and be more local.
I'll take this 4-hour drive to Louisiana and be safe.
But the other part that makes it so bad and stuff like that is the fact that, okay, they go through and they legalize betting state by state and stuff like that. You still stuck in these in front of your face, morally conscious, quote unquote, Bible Belt people in Texas that don't want to legalize gambling of any kind and stuff like that. And I mean, I feel them. If I was getting paid by New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Louisiana not to vote the shit in, I wouldn't vote for it either. But oh wait, you're not supposed to know that. My bad. Yeah, you know, I wouldn't vote for this shit to come to Texas either. But eventually, they're gonna have to embrace the big elephant in the room, and they're gonna have to let that shit go. But once it goes,
because they'll make just as much money. If not,
well, they won't make as much money because they won't make as much money that can't be taxable. I mean, you got to remember these under the table payments that these folks get paid so that they can keep the tourism up in New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Louisiana is substantial. You go through and tell everybody in Texas that you no longer have to go to Coshada, Harrah's, or to the Indian reservation to gamble. You can go right up the street in your own city. Their tourism is going to be affected greatly.
But then it brings in more income in Texas. That's just how I look at it. Because
it brings in more income in Texas, but it brings more. It also brings more opportunity for people to get gypped. It also brings in more opportunity for corruption or misappropriation and lack of regulation.
Texas would go to shits if we had weed and gambling. God damn it.
Yeah, like I'm
the world would be live.
This podcast on location. We'll be doing this podcast on location every week.
What? Oh, I saw
be like
coming live from Mile High. Just bet me a few mil.
They'll be like, yeah, Wilson don't even live in Texas no more. Just as soon as they put the paperwork through, he was like, I'm out.
Gotta get the fuck out of here. For real, I'm excited about it. I'm just glad that it's actually going to be legalized now. And
I think that it'll be good in the long run. I think that, one of the other things about it, too, because I just harped on the negative, one of the positives about it for people that don't know as well, they've had these kinds of legislations in place and stuff like that in Europe all the time, and it's actually helped them regulate scandals and point shaving and stuff like that, because now you have betting houses and bookings and stuff like that have a vested interest in the process. So they're not going to be so quick to let people go through and have like abnormal betting patterns go unchecked or not looked at from people that are trying to cut into their profits and make a buck doing something illegally. So those are some of the benefits that go with it. It kind of deters you from going through and trying to do stuff underhandedly because it's not a backdoor type business per se. You know what I'm saying? It's not one of those, oh, well, you can't tell on me because we're already doing illegal stuff, so who you going to tell, blah, blah. No, when it's all out there in the open and it's all regulated and understood, it makes policing it a little bit easier. It's just getting dedicated people to stay out there and actually police it and not be lured by the temptation.
Yeah. Oh, it could get nasty. It could get super nasty. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
But with Texas folks, you damn sure gonna have every Sunday morning, every Saturday morning, $1 million billion worth of prop bets on is the first play gonna be a run or a pass? Who's gonna score the first touchdown? Who's gonna wear black cleats? Who's gonna wear blue cleats? Like if they allow for like prop bets and stupid shit like that, it's going to be a Pandora's box.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, bro. And what did you think about the Browns getting announced for Hard Knocks, bro?
Poor Browns.
Just when I thought they were on the right track.
Poor Browns. But is it Hard Knocks? They said, is it Hard Knocks or is it the summer version of Hard Knocks? I ain't know what they said.
I don't care. I don't care if it's Hard Knocks Light, Hard Knocks HD, Hard Knocks the Ocho. If it's a Hard Knocks on it and you're a football team that's on it, you're not going to have a good season.
Hard Knocks the Ocho. Oh my God.
Let's keep it honest. I'm really gonna be impressed just to watch what's gonna go on in that Browns training camp for Hard Knocks. It's gonna be really entertaining.
I am too.
It's gonna be very entertaining.
There's a lot of talent, man.
There has never been a Hard Knocks that wasn't entertaining. There's never been a Hard Knocks that wasn't entertaining.
What I mean by
it never turned into success.
I'm talking about entertaining from the fact is this has been the most. Oh, man, what's the word I want to look for?
Well, Hugh Jackson on the microscope, so
yeah,
we pretty much could be watching the beginning of him getting fired this year.
It's just gonna be interesting just to see.
We might be misspelling the word lame duck by saying microscope, sir. I mean, he might have signed his death warrant by consenting to this Hard Knocks thing.
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't look at he must have looked at the track record.
But maybe he
might get fired in training camp. They might tell him to come to the own
out there. Like look what I was doing for my team when you fired me. This is a good way to audition. You know what I'm saying? Like Bill O'Brien, a lot of his free agents actually talked about them watching him on Hard Knocks and like comparing him as a coach. So it does take an effect. Like people watch this. So
yeah. You have a point. It's gonna be interesting to see the Browns. So I'm just interested in seeing the Browns.
It's one thing to get fired, but if I'm gonna get fired, at least let the public see the.
Yeah, let me see some tape out there. What I'm doing out here.
Motherfuckers, I tried. You saw what I was doing. You saw what I was doing.
I can't help it that Josh Gordon can't stay off the weed.
Somebody better hire me. Somebody better hire me.
They got a lot. Josh Gordon, Jarvis
Landry. You got Carlos Hyde coming in. You got Tyrod.
Oh my, Corey Coleman.
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be probably the one of the most entertaining one.
You got a lot of pieces. Man. Yeah, you got a lot of pieces in there to work with. A lot of personalities that'll look good for the camera and all that good.
A lot.
It's gonna make for good watching. Don't get me wrong.
I think early dark horse to be most entertaining has got to be Jamie Collins. Gotta be Jamie Collins.
How about you? How about we put it out there?
No question.
I'm gonna put it out here. I think the Browns gonna break the Hard Knocks curse. How ironic would it be? How ironic would it be the Browns breaking the curse?
They can't get any worse.
Can't get any worse.
They have
the Browns
the
around and
highest
go on
percentage.
Hard Knocks and end up being 11-5 this year, and we be like mind blown. Okay.
Well, I predicted them get them 10 wins. That was my one bet.
Browns will have the highest percentage of wins of any team in Hard Knocks history.
I think they still gonna go 8-8. I think they still gonna go 8-8.
You got 8-8, yeah.
Yeah,
I think I said, was it 9? I don't know if it was 9. I think it was 9. I don't know if it was 9 or 10. I forgot what it was. I gotta go back.
I'm still at 8 right now, but
I want to give them more
get in
wins.
there early.
Yeah, I want to give them more wins, but their schedule is
brutal.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
But if Baker get in early enough, he can change everything for him. So hey,
nah, let him ride with my boy Tyrod. Let's ride Tyrod.
Tyrod got 4 games, my man. He got 4 games.
Yeah, man. T-Mobile. Hey, T-Mobile just
might be what cost him more rent.
Hey, T-Mobile just got bought out by Sprint. So hey, T-Mobile, your days are numbered.
It's either gonna be Tyrod or Jackson. If Jackson hears somebody say put Mayfield in to save your job, guess who's gonna be in the next week?
Oh, it's gonna be Mayfield.
Yeah, I mean, but they're gonna have to make that decision, and they're gonna have to stick with it. They can't go splitting quarterbacks the whole season.
If I'm Hughes, I'm putting all my chips in on Baker right now. I wouldn't
on Baker.
You ain't got no choice.
I wouldn't play with Tyrod, bro, because there's no future with Tyrod.
That's true.
If my job is based on how my quarterback is going to perform,
the only way I go with Tyrod is if I have injuries on my O line and I know that Baker will get beat to death.
And he gonna get.
I like what I tried to tell folks about Deshaun Watson last year, but nobody wanted to listen to me.
Oh,
that's the only way that I don't play Baker Mayfield. I want to protect his ass.
Don't talk about Mr. 45 like that.
Dwayne,
Mr. 45, what? 45 stitches, 45 screws.
45 stitches, 45 screws. The disrespect. It is. Hey, I'll buy that. Forget that Sticks and Stones album.
Training camps and
no Sticks and Stones.
We gonna see all.
Yeah, I'm saying,
bro.
That on that Sticks and Seeds EP.
Hey man, I gotta cop that Sticks and Seeds EP. That's about to be fire, dog. That's about to be that new fire.
It's Guard Goods, okay? Guard Goods. Backwoods Guard Goods.
Ooh, gross.
But man, are y'all surprised that Dez is still a free agent?
Actually, I am. I gotta be serious because I know a team in his old division that needs him, and that's the Redskins. They need a #1 wide receiver. Well, they need a big body to replace what's his name? Pryor. I didn't want to mention his name, honestly. That's why I was kind of guessing, like hoping that we wouldn't even mention. We would skip to somebody else. We'll talk about Ryan Grant.
I have like 700 yards and 9 touchdowns with the Jets. I'm gonna be so upset.
Yeah, I mean, the tape is out there. Dez doesn't have the sauce no more. We all saw that, but even a vet minimum, nobody wants to pick him up. That's just crazy.
Like a 1 year, probably like what Alshon got.
Well, see, that's the thing about it. That's the thing about it. He's made it known that he wants to get a 1 year prove-it deal, and people still aren't.
And they still don't want him. The coaches had to be talking.
But it's the price tag of that 1 year, though.
Well, it's not even necessarily the price tag of the 1 year. It's just the totality of everything that Dez has been, whether you love him or hate him. You know, there's enough on his resume that kind of make folks hesitant, make folks kind of want to shy away.
The very TO-ish.
And then when you look to the teams that really, really, really could use them, they're like, do we upset the apple cart? Do we mess with the chemistry? Like Jason Witten went out there, gave the ringing endorsement. I think Dez should play with the Packers. This, that, and other. I mean, on paper, when you're looking at it in a vacuum, it makes sense.
But think about this. Dez going to be fighting for life. Let me ask you a question, Wilson, or not even a question or a statement. If Dez goes to the Packers, he falling for what, 4th? Maybe in that rotation, he's not better than Adams, not better than Cobb, not better than Geronimo Allison.
It would be understood that at the very best that he would be a 3 or a 4. He has no shot at 1 or 2
at all.
Like he has no shot at 1 or 2.
That's what I'm saying.
That's understood. And technically, he really would come in being number 4 because Jimmy Graham by default is their number 2.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Graham is number 3. That's true.
Yeah, he's not gonna get any higher than 4.
And I like Geronimo Allison more than Dez. I mean, I'm sorry to say that.
I'm a Geronimo fan. I like what Geronimo brings to the table as far as his skill set.
Got that big body.
Then,
if you want to be serious,
see the other part there. They just drafted 3 wide receivers that all
I like
Dez's
Equanimity St. Brown. I love
St. Brown is legit. The kid that came from down here. Shout out to Elkins High School from Missouri. Juwan Moore, 6'2+, runs a 4.4. I mean, they went out and got big-bodied, fast receivers.
They went out and got 2 Black Jordans.
The only person, the only team I love to see him at was with the Cardinals if they still have Bruce Arians, because I would love to see what Bruce Arians could do with Dez. But besides that, I would stick him at maybe. I
would have loved to have seen what he could do in
49ers.
Seattle.
I was gonna say Seattle, the 49ers, or maybe the Redskins. Those are only teams.
Yeah, one of those teams.
That's the only teams I can see that really can use the service. They really do need him. Seattle needs a big receiver because they just lost.
Yeah, I mean, like if he still has visions of grandeur of being the number one, those are the best places for him to go. Now, if he can take it and just want to get in somewhere where he can fit in and be on a roster, okay, well then the amount of teams kind of grows a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, being realistic, there's not going to be too many people that's going to want to pay him outside of what, maybe $4.5–5 million at the most. Yeah, I'm not going to pay him more than that.
That's true.
I'm not going to pay him more than that.
Yeah, and Crabtree going to the Ravens kind of messed that up for him. So,
oh, don't who Crabtree.
Not Crab, man.
Don't who them.
I'm sorry. I thought you said
the last 2 years for the Raiders.
That's a who? Who?
Nah, don't. Hey, breakout year coming, baby.
Nah, we said it last year.
No, it's official. John Gruden about to change the game.
Oh, it's a Cooper. It's a Cooper year. Okay, hang with Mr. Cooper.
I'm on it, man. I'm on it. Okay. And they got Martavis. They got both my receivers that I love from that.
Oh, and they got Martavis. Oh Lord.
It's about to go down and over.
And they got Jordy. Yeah. Oh man.
Martavis and Jordy about to take all his catches as soon as he starts dropping.
Exactly. All his deep.
He's going to the slot. He's going to the slot. Jordy gonna work outside. Martavis gonna work outside.
Oh, you know what? He does operate better in the slot. I don't know why they didn't run him in the slot more.
He's about to eat B because they ain't know how to use him, son.
That was strange.
Gruden about to put him in that slot. This 23-year-old receiver that's already had 2 1,000-yard seasons is about to eat and be.
You better hype him up, DeMarcus. But he about to disappoint. He gonna disappoint.
But this is the draft capital is so cheap.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna take a flyer on it. I would love to throw him at the end of my bench.
So that's why when you talk about draft price and upside,
10th round.
He's a 4th or 5th round pick right now.
I'm not touching.
I'm not touching him in no 4th and 5th round, man.
PPR, you crazy?
PPR, okay, yeah. I may get him in the 6th. I may get him in the 6th round.
If you wait till the 6th, he'll be gone by the 5th.
He ain't gonna be there. He ain't gonna be there because the only place they gonna be gone is if I'm in the league with DeMarcus. That's when he gonna be gone.
I don't gotta reach on Doug Martin this year, so I'm reaching on Amari.
There's your reach for the dude.
I'm not. Most of my leagues are keeper leagues anyway, and I already got my receivers, so Amari gets no love from me.
Amari in the keeper league too. Amari, Deshaun Watson, Dalvin Cook, Le'Veon Bell. Those are the 6 keepers right there.
Hey, Dalvin Cook about to eat.
And I'm gonna repeat, Wilson. I'm gonna repeat.
Oh, talk that shit.
What, you putting candy on that? You putting candy on that?
Talk your shit, son.
Candy on it. Candy.
You putting candy on that?
Big pack. I'm gonna repeat.
Man, it's going down. I want the Halloween bag.
He want that big $13 bag from Sam's.
I'm gonna get you a fresh one.
I'm trying to go to the hospital.
Your heart goes
Somebody get me some water.
That's gonna be funny.
But Wilson, I do got a serious question for you. You know, these past couple of years, Alex Ovechkin has been getting his ass kicked by Sidney Crosby, and he finally got past him. But on the other side of the conference, you got these Las Vegas Knights who are looking like the best powerhouse first-year franchise we've ever seen in any sport. If he was to make it to the finals, can he capture that Stanley Cup? Or do you just think it's completely impossible with the way that the Knights are playing?
I don't think that it's impossible. First off, let me give props and all kinds of credit to the Las Vegas Golden Knights as well as their fans in that city. I went and visited that city for my family reunion last year before they actually started. And when I tell you all up and down the Vegas Strip, there was nothing but Golden Knights gear everywhere. Everybody was wearing black and gold stuff before the season even started. So they was already all in and invested. Then you add to the fact that these guys are too quick, too fast, too exciting to know that they're not supposed to be this good yet and have no business being in the conference finals doesn't help. at all.
Celtics.
With over now, this is different. This is different because the Golden Knights actually look like they can like do it like right now. No injuries, no bugs, no problem. Like they look like they can do it right now. Like they're the most successful first year franchise I have ever seen in any sport. Like literally. Like they came out the gate, won their division, like top 3 seed in their conference, making it to the conference finals now, a couple of games away from playing for the Stanley Cup. Like they are unbelievably good, and they're literally in their first year. And what plays to their strengths is the one thing that kind of nullifies Alex's biggest strength because he's so explosive, he's so fast, he's like a runaway freight train on those skates when it comes to, when Ovechkin is in that zone, man, he's moving 120 miles an hour and there's nothing that can be done to stop him, but Vegas is fast. Vegas is big. I'm in my heart because Alex is one of those guys that you respect his greatness as a player, and you want him to get a ring before he goes out, especially now that he's gotten over that Sidney Crosby. Yeah, he finally got over the hump. It's like watching Peyton Manning when he finally beat Tom Brady and them to get past that.
Alex Ovechkin make it to the final. I said, nah, Sidney Crosby probably gonna whip his ass. Then a couple weeks later, he said, Alex Ovechkin.
They got him, man.
So he's going
to be supremely motivated, man. He's going to be supremely motivated because literally he has a chance to like cement that legacy, man. This is like the only thing that's missing from his resume because he's one of the greatest goal scorers that the NHL has ever seen.
Yes. He's been
anybody that doesn't watch hockey, just Google him or YouTube him, and you'll still enjoy the highlights even if you don't know what it is you're looking at.
I love him. He one of my favorites. Definitely. I want to see him win. I want to see Ovechkin get
one. In my heart, I'm pulling for him, man. I mean, it's a good story either way, whether it's Alex finally breaking through or watching these young bucks come through in season 1 and win the Stanley Cup. It's amazing. And in addition to those, I'll put it out there too. Nobody this season coming in, unless they were fans of the teams, would have said that you would have had the Capitals, the Lightning, the Winnipeg Jets, and the Las Vegas Golden Knights as your Frozen Four playing to see who gets to the Stanley Cup. I try to tell people year in and year out, even if they're not big fans of the sport, stuff like that, from the format down to the action, down to the fast-paced, lightning quick, blink and you'll miss it drama. The NHL hockey playoffs is the best playoffs out of every major sport in existence right now.
100%, man. And before we hop into these NBA conference finals real quick, I just wanted to throw out there the Yankees are the current betting World Series favorites. I just want to acknowledge that.
Much ado about nothing.
I'm just saying they the favorites right now. So everybody's seeing them.
It's only a half point over the Astros. They're 5-1. The Astros are 11-2. It's so much ado about nothing. That's for people that want to try to bet their rent money or their life savings on the long shot.
I'm hoping that we can see part 3 of this playoff series. I'm hoping we can get part 3. I'll look forward to it.
It looks like all signs are going to point to that being a collision course, unless you get somebody like them pesky ass Red Sox that's going to have something to say.
They right there. Yeah,
right now, it looks like the biggest opposition to that round that rematch happening is going to be either the Red Sox or the Angels, both of which look really strong, really early into the season.
Oh
man, God bless the Angels. Got so lucky getting that good.
What,
man? And he wanted to go to a small. I'm like, man, if he would have came, because New York was after him hot. If he'd have made it in a Yankee uniform, my God.
We're not going to talk about that.
Oh my God. They be calling him the Asian Babe Ruth right now. That would be disgusting.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. But Griff, what playoff series you want to get into first, man?
Oh, y'all woke me up, man. I took a nap. Y'all talking about hockey and baseball.
Disrespect.
Sports. So much hatred.
So much hatred.
Which one
do I want to talk about, man? I want to talk about the Celtics.
The Celtics' dominance over the Cavs. Something that
Pyrite.
They got.
Oh, you don't think? You don't think?
They got to do it on the road.
They got to do it on the road. Yeah, Wilson said what he.
I think the Boston Celtics right now are the most Jekyll and Hyde team left in the playoffs because they suck on the road.
Actually, they don't. They really don't. They don't suck on the road. If you look at their losses on the road, they only lost every game that they lost was in 5 points, and one of the games was a blowout. But other than that, they only lost by.
How many losses are there?
4. They're 1-4.
How many? Oh, okay. So they suck on the road. I don't care if it's by an inch or a mile. I just finished watching Fast and the Furious earlier today.
But that's the thing.
And if you got wins, you're not good on the road.
All right. Okay. I'll give it to you.
I mean, what? Do you think they're just gonna go in?
I just don't think the Cavs are good at home. Like, I think that we overrate that the Cavs are good at home.
I never said that the Cavs were good at home.
Oh no, I think that. But that was the caveat. I think that the Cavs are bad at home, and I think the Celtics are not really as bad on the road. They have lost on the road, but I don't think they're as bad. They just lose like those close games or whatnot. And it's the different factors from players stepping up or refs or whatnot. There's many things that can be looked at against on why they should have won 2 of the games that they played in Milwaukee, but we're not even about to get into that. But I truly believe that, like how Marcus said when he was talking about the Las Vegas team with hockey, and I'm not trying to say that they're as good as those players or as talented as those players, but I think you have a young team that is naive enough.
Same concept.
Yeah, they're naive enough to know that they can take on this team, and they're not playing scared of LeBron. And like I said, I think that they hang their hat on defense, and then they make those adjustments, and it shows, and it's been showing throughout the playoffs, and we've seen a young team grow up in our eyes, and it's really going to make it intriguing for next year when they have all their pieces together. But for right now, from what the situation is looking like and what I've seen with my 2 eyes over the past, 3 rounds, I would be, if I'm a Cavaliers fan, I'm telling myself that LeBron James is there is not enough anymore. I got to start thinking to myself, maybe we're not going to win this, because LeBron James is doing the best he can, but he cannot carry that team, and they're not trash. I'm not going to sit up there. I'm not going to be like everybody else and say, oh, Kevin Love is garbage and Rodney Hood is garbage. They're just not stepping up, and it is what it is. Sometimes you just get outmatched and you get outclassed, and Brad Stevenson has showed that. I think we talked about that going to this playoffs. I think we talked about this is where we're going to see Brad Stevenson really kind of take flight as a coach, because I think that he had the type of matchups that we're going to show, where he's going to have to use his coaching to his best ability. And it's been really entertaining. I think it ain't entertaining from the fact of seeing LeBron James lose. It's entertaining to see a young team like this do the impossible. No one saw the Celtics getting this far. Nobody saw that. Boston fans didn't even see that. I've talked to many of my friends that are Boston fans, and even Shantae, she's a Boston fan. She didn't see them making this far. But when you saw them play that game 1 against Philly, it just reiterated in our mind that, you know what, they're impressive.
Man, it's so easy to get caught up on the young talent. I feel like we give so much credit to the Jason Tatums, the Jaylen Browns. We talk about Terry Rozier coming to the series, and that's the guy. It's Horford. It's that veteran leadership that's missing, and he's
their Rasheed Wallace. He's their Rasheed Wallace on the 2004 Pistons.
I agree.
He has no Ben Wallace, and he's doing it all on his own down there. Like, he's manning the board.
I don't know. That Jayhawk, Mr. Morris, he might qualify.
Morris doing his thing, but when you got a great big man next to you, a big man that's playing great basketball right now, overall basketball, it's pretty easy to get acclimated next to him. I mean,
I just didn't want Mr. Morris to come back on us on this podcast and be like, "What you mean he ain't got no Ben Wallace here? You see me shutting down LeBron, sir."
I think it's also
shut down LBJ.
And then also can be said about Horford with his time in Atlanta that he played with a whole bunch of ISO players that it kind of diminished his talents.
Horford had the unathletic Clint Capella role with the Hawks. They really didn't feature him.
No, what I'm saying. Well, I was only reason why I say that is because he had like the triple threat of ISO players and Joe Johnson, Josh Smith, and Jamal Crawford. And it was just like, how do you win with that?
James Harden, Eric Gordon, Chris Paul. I mean, it's just the unathletic version of it. So yeah, he was just stuck in the middle down there.
I'm gonna keep preaching, and I hate to throw around the word great, but Brad Stevenson is pop level, and I say that with so much respect because Brad Stevenson gets the most out of his players. I think they showed on the chart that each one of his players has increased their productivity from the regular season to the postseason by like leaps and bounds from Jason Tatum, Rozier, Brown, Horford, Marcus Smart. Everyone's taking a leap, and that goes into with coaching because Pop does that with all his players, and I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying it, and I can't say enough for just how amazing the Celtics have been throughout Milwaukee series where everyone thought they were going to lose, the Philly series, and then winning in 5. And then, you know what might happen with the Cavs? I mean, who's to say? Cavs may come back and, win the series. But for right now, up 0-2, I got to give Brad and the Celtics some credit.
I love everything that Brad is doing, but I joked about it at first, but Terry Rozier is literally becoming one of my favorite players to watch in the NBA. And if they are smart, if they were smart, I'd trade him.
I would too.
Much value as you could after this playoff performance.
Because he got one more year on his contract.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And they can't pay him.
I'm going to be honest with you.
They're going to send him a first-round pick and Jaylen Brown to the Spurs for Kawhi.
Yeah, I don't. Marcus Smart too.
I wouldn't. I would make that. Marcus Smart, I couldn't get rid of him. I couldn't get rid of Marcus Smart just for the simple fact is he'd
be the new Danny Green over there.
Man, you can do that if you want to. Yeah, y'all hate that.
No, I'm saying. I'm saying, like, why not get them to throw him in? I mean,
I don't think we would.
They'll try to get everything that they can, but I don't think that they would give up that much.
I don't think well, first of all, he's going to be a free agent, so they're going to have to re-sign him. And then on top of that, with Marcus Smart, I think that Brad Stevenson had shown over the course of the past 4 years that he can kind of operate without those players where we were like, oh man, don't trade Evan Turner because he was having such a good thing and we got rid of him and they were still fine. And same with Avery Bradley, and then you had what's his name? Olynyk, Isaiah Thomas. He kind of succeeds without those players and he gives them to other people and those people step up in their role. So I like Crowder. Yeah, I love it. So they may it's really amazing just to watch Boston play. Not trying to be a LeBron hater or trying to bash on the Cavs because I think they are really. I think this is the thing I told somebody. I said if you watch the regular season enough, Boston is doing what they've been doing all season, and the Cavs are doing what they've been doing all season. The Cavs are struggling on defense. It's starting to show. The Celtics have always been pretty consistent on defense, and they've also had a great offense this year that no one really kind of paid attention to. And the Boston has already faced adversity straight out the gate, so you can't put too much more pressure on them since they already been dealing with it, and I've been enjoying it.
For sure, man. What? They still got to do it on the road.
Got to do it on the road.
So Saturday's going to be pretty interesting. All right, so jump into the good old Rockets versus the Warriors series.
I ain't going to talk about it, man. I'm going to let y'all go first. I'll be last.
I mean, it's nothing much to say. I mean, you got both of these teams. They pretty much throwing heavy punches at each other. So this is the type of series you expected. It's no adjustments being made. I don't know where this whole adjustment story is coming from.
Can we talk about that? And Marcus, I know that you watch enough of the Rockets games, and you have, we had these conversations, and I know this is going. I don't want to be too long about this because I got to roll out of here. But I don't like the narrative being painted that the Rockets are just an ISO ball team. I'm like, yeah, we play ISO ball, but we can pass the ball still. But I hate the narrative that our defense is not good enough. And it's like, oh, well, the Warriors are just struggling or the Warriors are out of sync. I'm like, no, give the Rockets some credit. If you can give Boston some credit and say that they're playing great defense against the Cavs instead of you just running to the narrative of the Cavs are just struggling, then you need to go to the narrative that the Rockets are playing some legit defense, and they've been playing that all season. I mean, not all season, postseason, and during the season. And I think that it's been an underrated thing or underrated narrative that's been about the Rockets that I think that needs to get more attention. Their defense, they really hang their hat on defense. If you listen to the post-game interviews, if you hear just with them bi-casually, the players talking to each other, they really are a defensive-minded team, and that's something that we have not seen in past seasons, and that's the thing that I liked about this Rockets team, that they were more confident and more put more pressure on themselves to do it great on the defensive end, and I like that about the Rockets.
I mean, it's pretty simple. Game 1 came down to KD is the best fucking scorer in the world right now, and Luke Bamute couldn't hit nothing.
Nothing.
And Eric Gordon in the third quarter, he had
time out. This is the only issue that I have with this conversation thus far. it's incredibly hard for fans like myself that are on the outside looking in to appreciate what you guys as Rocket fans are saying. If you want me to appreciate the fact that the Rockets have been playing good defense, don't tell me that your shooters were just off in game one. If you're not going to say the Warriors wasn't playing good defense in game one, I'm not going to say that the Rockets were playing good defense.
Oh, they were.
Well,
they were.
But Luke,
what I'm saying is this.
On the Rockets the whole game.
What I'm saying is this.
17
Go
minutes.
through and you listen to that narrative, and I've listened to it the last 2 games, and it amazes me that you'll hear a lot of Rockets fans, well, we don't get enough credit for our defense. And I can understand the logic in that. But you never took the time to give the Warriors on playing good defense in game one. It was just that folks' shots wasn't falling. But when you hear it on the other side and people say, oh, well, Steph and them, their shots weren't just falling. Well, no, the Rockets were playing good defense. It has to go good. It has to go both ways. It has to go balanced. There's a lot of similarities between these two teams that people don't want to acknowledge that actually exist. And it gives you this up and down type of feeling that you're going to experience through this series. That's why I laughed, and I've never said anything when folks was running their mouths talking about, oh, they about to get swept after game one and this, that, and other, because they don't know basketball. They just stupid. They live in the moment like that. It's going to be a back and forth series. There's going to be adjustments. There's going to be punches and counter punches made. Rockets fans can get offended at the ISO thing. I get it, but I also get where it comes from because you guys kind of give yourselves the illusion of being overly ISO because you dribble too fucking much. There's nothing that can be denied about that. As much as they dribble in their half-court sets, you would swear to God they were playing ISO all the time. So I understand where that vision comes through, even if it's not true. I understand where it comes from. On the opposite side of that, when you go through and you look at the Rockets and how they play defense, I wouldn't call them a defensive-minded team as much as I would call them an opportunistic and turnover-encouraging team. And that translates into good defense. They're not a team that has a mindset of we're about to go through here, ISO, and lock down everybody man-to-man. We're going to take this guy, that guy. However, that's not the hallmark of what makes a team a good defensive team either, but you have to be accurate in the way that you describe it. The Rockets, in the way that they come out at you, they put that overall pressure. They encourage the closeouts on the long shots. They go through and they clog the lanes and stuff like that. They create so many opportunities for themselves in fast break and transition that it translates over to good defense. However, you'll get the stands and the people that are so anti-Rocket and anti-Harden and anti-Chris Paul that will sit there and they will hang their hat on the fact that, oh, I ain't seen James Harden just clamp down, slap his hands on the floor, and lock somebody up for 48 minutes. Oh, well, he can't play defense. That's not necessarily true either. I've heard the Spurs be lauded as a defensive team for the last quarter century. I ain't never, ever heard anybody claim that Tony Parker was a defensive stopper. Have you?
No, have not. That's a good question. I mean that's a good point.
You can still go through and be effective defensively. It's just not a thing of having 5 lockdown defenders on your team. There are very few teams that I've ever seen in my entire lifetime that can say that they fielded 5 lockdown defenders on the court at one time. It's just not practical. It don't work like that. And teams that we did see that actually had stuff like that, well, they could only score 65 points a game. So they ended up being pretty shitty teams anyway.
Well, the Rockets only got one.
Everybody buys into the hype. The only thing I'm saying about it is this. Everybody buys into so much of this stuff that happens in the moment. Everybody gets so caught up in narratives that people are trying to push across and stuff like that. Man, I'm here for the good basketball that I've been watching so far. I'm here for the good coaching that I've been seeing thus far. I'm here for the chess match. I'm here for the best players in the world that are going head-to-head right now, that are putting their legacies on the line to see who's going to play for that trophy at the end of the day. All this other stuff that people are putting out there on the side don't really matter to me. That's why you haven't really seen me post up too much or say too much.
Can I say something on the defensive mind thing? And the only reason why I got to say this is I think they are a defensive minded team because if you look at their starting 5, the only person that kind of falls out of rotation is a person that is really the person that's an optimistic, defensive player. And that's Harden. Everybody else is a lockdown perimeter defensive player. From Eric Gordon, that's the reason why they got PJ Tucker, and then you still have Ariza. That's his thing. You have Luke Badamusa. That's all Ryan Anderson fell out of and it shows. And it if you ever watch the post game or the pregame show on Root Sports or whatever, they talked about that. And D'Antoni's, I guess his defensive coach was talking about that. That's why they grabbed these players, because they knew that was, when they looked at the game tape of last year, that was the thing that they needed to increase on, was turnovers and defense. So they felt the need that when Chris Paul came, he felt that was the thing that they talked about in the, I guess, in the meeting with D'Antoni and James Harden and Chris Paul, that they need to bring those defensive players. That's why Luke came over with Chris Paul, and that's why PJ Tucker came over with Chris Paul. That's why with Capella, he was working with Olajuwon and working with I think another center or whatever, working on his defense, because that's the thing that they wanted to hang their hat on. And that's why Ryan Anderson fell out of rotation, because he doesn't play defense. And I like that. And that's why D'Antoni's so hesitant to play Gerald Green. And even Gerald Green last night stepped on defense. I was really impressed on how he played Curry. So I got to say, I like the Rockets' chances to get past the Warriors, but they have to start converting and those opportunities, those shots, those layups, those missed layups. They got to make those, because those can come back and bite them.
And I didn't want to just make it seem like I was just saying it's as simple as they didn't hit no shots, but like I say, Luke got a bum shoulder, so he was playing empty minutes. He wasn't really impacting the defensive side.
Directing that towards you.
Yeah,
I wasn't directing that towards you. I was just saying in general.
Hit anything. Eric Gordon was they was force feeding him in the third quarter to get us back into the game, and he just had like 5 straight terrible fucking possessions. So
yeah, man, them layups, boy, he was.
Man, so that's the difference.
8 missed layups. They say we had 8 missed. We had 9 missed layups.
But the same thing that Eric Gordon did in game 2, we seen Clay do in game 1. That's why I say those are the people that's going to cancel out. It's going to come down to Clay and Eric Gordon. Who's going to have the most bad games? Who's going to have the most bad games? Because I feel like everybody else cancel out as far as PJ and Draymond. Then you talk about Chris and Steph and Durant and Harden. I feel like everybody else can cancel out, but those 2 guys are the wild card. Who's going to have the best game?
And they played Clay pretty good. I've never seen a team.
Nick Young.
I've never seen him play.
Nick Young hitting those threes did not help at all.
Exactly. He had them detrimental threes, and I'm really impressed how the Rockets played Clay. I've never seen anybody play Clay that good except the Spurs on occasions.
Well, you can't be as aggressive when Ariza got in foul trouble. That team could not be aggressive, and it happened in the quarter that the Warriors about to go berserk. So
they sure did.
Time of the game,
and you have to take into account the fact that you have the good fortune of having a bit of a cushion, seeing that nobody else is really stepping up other than Kevin Durant. So it gives you that leeway to be able to be more aggressive on Clay. If Draymond was hitting at that time, or if Steph was hitting at that time, you can't press Clay the way that you pressed him all game. And that's the thing that makes them so hard as far as a matchup. But that's why when we talk about the word, because Griff, I think we're at the same spot. We're just taking different routes to get to the same spot in the house. You say defensive minded. I say opportunistic and turnover friendly. The reason why I don't call them a defensive-minded team is because, in my honest opinion, from their head coach down to the last man on the bench, they're more concerned about turning you over and getting out on transition than actually stopping the ball. Defensive-minded team to me means that your number one goal is to stop the ball. Period. Opportunistic,
but isn't that why
matches what goes on?
But isn't that what they want to do? They want to stop the ball and push it.
But hear me out. It's the way you go about stopping the ball. Now, when you talk about stopping the ball, you talk about a San Antonio way or an old school, Ben Wallace and them Detroit Pistons way, where you're going through and it's not so much playing the passing lanes and trying to play the turnover as much as collapsing down, forcing them to make bad plays, forcing them to extend their possessions, forcing them to take time off the clock. Whereas the Rockets style of defense, which actually matches the brand of basketball that we play nowadays, is predicated on keeping a certain pace and a certain rhythm, playing and timing those passing lanes, getting those closeouts on the perimeter to give them bad looks, getting those long rebounds so you have a guy like a Capella or a Tucker to catch those balls, start the transition early, get the breakout. I think that's when the Rockets are at their best. If you ask them to sit down there, slap their hands on the floor, and just grind it out, that doesn't play to the Rockets' strengths as far as the talent that they have on their roster. When you let them get out there and be free-flowing, let everything move to its own little pace, you can tell when the Rockets get in that rhythm on both sides of the ball, them stretches where they look unbeatable, it's almost like they're psychically linked, and they know what the other one is doing. They play those passing lanes perfect. They know when to come in and give you that fake trap or give you that full trap and press that ball, get somebody to make a mistake, throw the ball in the wrong area and stuff like that. That's when the Rockets are at their best. If you ask them to sit down, play traditional hard-nosed, grinded out defense, I don't see them being successful that way. That's the only reason why I don't really look to them and say, oh, well, they're a defensive-minded team. I think they're very opportunistic, and I think they turn over people a lot better than most people want to give them credit for.
So what do you call the Warriors then? Do you call them a defensive-minded team? Because they do the same thing as the Rockets.
But you also got to realize
capitalize on turnovers.
Those same
see, that's the thing. I've never referred to them as a defensive-minded team.
They have enough firepower.
Their firepower covers up for that a lot of times.
See, what I feel like Wilson coming from, if I'm not mistaken, like a '90s defensive team slapping the court and they slowing it down on offense.
Oh yeah, because they
don't have the firepower. I think that's what Wilson. So when you say defensive-minded team, we talking about what the Pistons?
Yeah, I mean, I look at it. I look at it as like the Ben Wallace Pistons, the Patrick Ewing Knicks, the Twin Towers Spurs.
But they played in a time where they got.
So they
played in a time
different now, though. It's a little.
But they played in a time where offenses weren't trying to get they shot off in the first 10 to 15 seconds. Like they do that now, so that's why you can't got those lockdowns.
So when he said they taking more risks, they try to get in transition quicker. So you got to.
That's my thing. That's why I say to me they're a more opportunistic and turnover causing team. It doesn't mean that they're not a good defensive team. It's just different in the way that they get their defensive identity out.
Trevor has been poking basketballs out since the NBA Finals that he won with Kobe. So I see what he's saying. They go out there and they take chances. They jump in the pass lane. They create turnovers to get on the break, which they are top 2, and they're not number 2 fast break team in the league.
And I mean, for what they have on their roster, for the talent that they have for their players, you want them to play that kind of defense. Mm-hmm. You want them to play that kind of defense. You don't want them to grind it out and slow it down. That takes away from what the Rockets do best. Not saying that in a pinch, if they had to, that they couldn't. It's just not their preferred method of success.
Gotcha.
That's it, man.
Gotcha.
Anything else y'all got for the people? For my man Griffin?
They have to come out and win one of these next 2 games. They have to.
Oh yeah, they go. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw that prediction. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that prediction out. Celtics win on Saturday, and then the Rockets win on Sunday.
I think the Celtics series is over. I think the Celtics are gonna win in 5. They might actually sweep, depending on how hard this game is.
Yes, sir.
I'm hoping that the Rockets dig deep. That they still keep it loose and carefree. I hope that they continue to do what got them there. Don't overthink it, and stay focused and on task. They have to hope to get at least the split the same way that they gave up the split.
Can I tell y'all this? And one thing that I learned by looking at these playoffs or looking at these teams, the way that you beat LeBron James, if you don't play scared of LeBron James, because I was noticed that a lot of the teams that he's beaten, and I've looked at the track record of like his last few playoffs. A lot of the teams that he's faced, he had a mental edge over those teams. They kind of got in the way of themselves. From the Pacers, they got in the way with themselves. Toronto for all those years. You can look at the Celtics; they didn't have enough offensive firepower, so that's why they didn't. They fell off. The Wizards, they get into get in their heads. Same with the Warriors. When the Warriors play a certain type of team, they get in their head. Especially when you go out to Oracle, that crowd, that noise, the way that they can start popping off on teams. If the Rockets don't play scared, I think they can beat the Warriors. I really give them a shot, and this is what I seen. Like last night, it goes to show you that the Rockets can do it. And I personally would like people to give us a shot, but I'd rather us prove them wrong.
Sir, if you are available,
I hope the bleeding stops.
And catch the tip off, you have a shot. There's 28 other teams that can't say that. Mm-hmm. You got a shot. That's not to be denied. You got a shot. It's just putting it all together to make it happen. I mean, it's just a really, really daunting task because we know the beast that you guys are going up against. We know what the level of expectation is. And unfortunately, people are going to always remember, okay, well, what were your last playoffs like, Chris Paul? What were your last playoffs like, James Harden? They have to battle past that. Whether it's fair or not, it just is what it is. They're going to have to defeat them demons, and unfortunately, they got a hell of a team to defeat them demons against. But, yeah, they have a shot. To say that a 65-win team with home court advantage or that had home court advantage doesn't have a shot is fucking foolish.
Exactly. You're right. You're right. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
I'm with you, my man. But as always, y'all can catch us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Melanated and Illuminated / Fish and Grits, Facebook page Fish and Grits for the Culture. Like, listen, enjoy it, share it. You know you want to.
Yeah, you know you want to listen to this good content that we pushing out here.
Man.
Stop playing, man. Just stop playing.
Don't fight this.
Don't fight it.
This ain't Sticks and Seeds, homeboy.
Oh yeah, sticks and seed. Break it down and roll it up.
Gar Guts.
Stickiest of the stickiest.
Ooh wee.
Rod's
Got that one and gone over here, homie.
But man, Griff, you have a good night, my man. Enjoy.
Appreciate it.
Time with your fam.
Oh, y'all pray for me. Y'all pray for me. I forgot to let y'all know. You know, I ain't letting nobody know. Yeah, I got my second interview tomorrow, 10 o'clock.
It's
That's in the bag, homie. That's in the
Yeah,
bag.
you know, I've been going to deep prayer about this. The job it will be perfect for me. I know it ain't nothing but the Lord. You know, just on how everything took shape and took form. So I'm going there with a confident mindset of whatever happens, and I pray I come out on top.
Sir, can I ask you one quick question though?
Uh-huh.
It may come down to having to sacrifice your James Harden card to get this job. Are you willing to take?
I'm throwing it all in there. I'm throwing James Harden, the whole team. The whole team. Throw Deshaun Watson and all of them. Throw the Eagles in there.
It's 45. I'm sending him to the graveyard.
Yeah, I'm throwing him to the graveyard too, man. I'm throwing Carson Wentz in there. Sit out for the rest of the year, son.
Y'all don't know my life. Y'all don't know my
Y'all don't know. Y'all people just don't know, man. It's just I've been out of college for 5 years and I haven't had a true permanent job, and this is finally one that's crept up on me. So you know, I'm praying on it.
Then go on and get it, homie. It's already a done deal. You got
there.
That.
You go. There you go.
Get it in. But as for now, this has been Fish and Grits, and you guys have just been served.
Peace. Oh, what did I say? Y'all enjoy it?
You say
so long I forgot what I said.
I say, man, he on the cut.
I forgot what I said.